Now, this is probably one of the most underrated fights for the British heavyweight title. Jeamie TKV defending his belt against Riakporhe. Obviously, Riakporhe coming up from cruiserweight, won a few fights at heavy, hits like a truck. Where TKV, he's rough, he's rugged, he comes with all sorts, which is why I do believe this has a potential recipe to be fight of the year. Now, when we break down Riakporhe's first fight at heavyweight, when he fought Tommy Welch, you'll see he struggled at moments where he struggles against someone that's lighter, a bit fluid, where I believe at heavyweight that'll be more adjusted to him because not a lot of people will have the same stature that Tommy Welch has at heavyweight. And you'll see there the way he was just landing hold, which is what Bilham Smith was doing as well when he beat Riakporhe in the rematch. So I do believe someone with a bit more stature to him, a bit more weight to him, like TKV, that will fall into Riakporhe's favour. You see, although it lasted a few rounds, Riakporhe, he found his range eventually, but you'll see he struggled to cut the ring. He lands maybe one shot out of 4, but obviously because he hits hard, it has more of a devastating effect compared to Welch did, where Welch, he hits hard but not to the extent that Riakporhe does. And you'll see here the way he throws the left and the right hand, completely missed. Tommy little check hook from him, but you'll see he slightly moved back where Tommy by inches just slipped that right hand, but here he couldn't. That right hand, first one on the back of the head, you know, I wouldn't say it was a temple shot, it was more back of the head, but he didn't recover from it and he just kept getting hit for fun. As you see here, when he was on the ropes, just a right hand down the pipe, sent him flying, he never recovered. And then, of course, Riakporhe, what did he do? Like a true knockout artist, went for the kill, got the third knockdown, and that was just simply all she wrote. Now, when you see with Jeamie TKV, in this fight when he defended against Frazer Clarke, you'll see he gets caught with little silly shots, little pop shots, where Frazer Clarke teed off at him early on, but then TKV, what did he do? Bring him to the inside, make him smother his work, and then he lands a short, snappy shot, which has a much more devastating effect compared to Frazer. And you see he slowly wore him down by work on the inside, leaning onto him, similar to a Coley in a way, but landing shots on the inside, where Frazer was teeing up, but after 5-6 rounds he was gassing, and you'll see the shots that he was landing against TKV, he couldn't eventually do that on in the second half of the fight, which is a huge credit to TKV. And you see here, he gets pivoted around, good footwork by Frazer, but what does he do? Lands his shots first, double uppercut, then lands a left hook across the temple, and you see when Frazer tries to throw that left hook, he smothers his work, and it just doesn't really have any effect on TKV. So TKV, and I'll say it again, on the inside, he's the most underrated heavyweight on the inside. Not saying that range, not saying at all like pure boxing ability, technical ability, but on the inside, he's definitely a top 5 heavyweight, in my opinion. So that always, when he fights these world level elite fighters down the line, he will have a chance based on his inside work, which is what got Caballero to the dance, because him as well, similar style, but you can't fight a range with him where he forces fighters to go on the inside, a bit like what TKV does. But you'll see there, his shot selection is unreal. Left hook to the body, left hook to the head. Same again, left hook to the body, left hook to the head. Because what does Frazer do? He's waiting for the counter, but TKV lands his first, so he doesn't have enough time to counter. Now, here, you'll see this moment here. The exact same. Left hook to the body, left hook to the head. The same time in the same round. And what does TKV do? Lands a few hooks to each body, misses with the right hand, but comes to the left hook. He just doesn't see these punches coming, where you think for someone with a bronze medal at the Olympics, he would be 2 steps ahead of TKV, but clearly TKV was a man that was 2 steps ahead of him, and TKV just, for the second half of the fight, just bullied him, absolutely bullied him. And I called this fight, and I did say TKV would win, and I'm happy he did, because obviously he won me a good amount of dough, but I could see this from the ways their styles match up. And you see when he fought Wardley in the first fight, which obviously TKV took advantage of, the inside work, which is what this fight was purely won on, where Frazer Clarke, he fought TKV at his fight, where he did have a good amount of success, but not enough. Where TKV, he showed his levels. He showed that he, in the pros, he has more heights that he can reach compared to Frazer. And that's no disrespect to Frazer, but amateurs and pros are a different game. More dynamite, more bombs thrown, and clearly TKV just has a lot more in his locker. Like there, left hook to the body, left hook to the head. Now, with Riakporhe against TKV, don't waste your jab for false openings, because you'll see against Tommy Welch, he'd throw his jab hoping for an opening, but he would just be mobile, circling around the ring. Don't waste your punches. Land to the body if you need to cut the ring, because that will slow him down, slow his feet down, then you can tee him off once you hurt him. And uppercuts to the equalizer, because when you see people that are shorter and stockier, they're going to come in, try lean onto you, the uppercuts will land first. If you try and land a hook or these straight shots to the inside, they're going to be a bit more delayed compared to short snappy uppercuts, which could do the damage. Now with TKV, you've got to drag Riakporhe on the inside. This is your game, this is how the fight will be won, dragging him onto the inside. But land, hold, reset, set the tempo. You set the tempo, you dictate the pace of the fight. So when you land and hold, just reset, throw a 1-2, hold, reset. Make it a bit of a stinker. And of course, allow him to smother his work, because when you see fighters that have a much bigger range to you and they try and work on the inside, it looks a bit uncoordinated, which gets you the nod on the scorecards compared to the person with a much taller range, especially when the fight's played on the inside. Now, I do believe the fight will be played on the inside. I do believe Riakporhe will have success. He'll land a few good shots, but I do believe TKV will be victorious. And I'm not just saying it just because he's a bookie's, not favourite and he's the outsider. I'll be honest, if I was a bookmaker, I'd probably say Riakporhe 4-6 just based on his power and what he's done at cruiserweight fight for a world title, and TKV maybe 5-4. I do believe it is a close fight. On paper, it slightly favours Riakporhe just based on resume and the levels they fought at. But when you break them down stylistically and you see the way he loses to Bill Smith, who is probably, I'll say, he's like a heavyweight TKV in a way, a cruiserweight TKV, sorry. And I can see it just being the exact same, where he smothers his work, doesn't get the shots that he wants to, bit gun shy, and TKV just works and does what he needs to do and forces the errors which he capitalizes on. And I do believe TKV will get the win. I'm just going to say TKV just to win. I can see elements where he makes it a bit of a stinker and he wins on points quite easy. I can also see a way that he does get the stoppage, because Riakporhe, he does get caught quite a bit. He hasn't been dropped in his career, but in the heavyweight division, anything can happen. But that is what I'm going to be betting and predicting. Hope you enjoyed this video. Going to have loads of predictions coming up this week as well regarding the rest of the undercard. And Inglacia fighting for the world title, Estrada. And I've got another video out in the next few days based off who I think will win between Wilder and AJ. But that is all for today. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and as always, this ain't financial advice. This is going to be what I'll be betting and backing based off my own research. Have a great day, boys.